This week, Demi Moore is on GMA, and she's telling us about her life like we've never heard it before.
Everyone knows that A-list love is no.
We are what the future is for women, and I look at having my daughters. He landed in her life like a dream. She was 40, healing from a divorce. He was 25, charming, and promised her the world. What started as Hollywood's most talked about romance ended in Demi Moore's darkest chapter. Now, at 62, she's finally telling the whole story, the miscarriage they kept secret, the 3 she regrets, and the addiction that nearly killed her. This is what really happened between Demi and Ashton. Demi Moore was born on November 11, 1962, in Roswell, New Mexico. Her life was difficult from the start. Her father left before she was even born, and her mother struggled to take care of her. Things got worse when, at just 15, Demi went through a horrible betrayal. In her memoir, she shared how her mother allowed an older man to hurt her for $500. This left deep emotional scars that stayed with her for years. Her home life was chaotic, both her parents drank heavily, and the family moved constantly, over 30 times by the time she turned 14. Demi never felt stable or safe. When she was just 12, she experienced something no child should. Her mother tried to take her own life. Demi had to dig pills out of her mother's mouth with her small hands while her stepfather held her down. That moment forced her to grow up far too quickly. School wasn't any better for Demi. She struggled with dyslexia and had a condition that required surgeries on her eyes. By 16, she dropped out of school and decided to live on her own. She worked different jobs to support herself, including modeling and debt collection. At 17, she married rock musician Freddie Moore, hoping to leave her troubled past behind. But the marriage only lasted 4 years. Despite everything, Demi didn't give up. She wanted a better future and kept pushing forward. At 19, Demi got her first big chance. She was cast in the soap opera General Hospital, playing a journalist named Jackie Templeton. Over 1,000 actresses tried for the role, but Demi stood out. She made just $750 per episode, but this role was the beginning of something bigger. Her character, Jackie, was strong and determined, which wasn't common for women on TV at that time. Demi's performance impressed viewers and producers alike. Off-screen, Demi faced a serious problem. She was struggling with addiction, partying heavily often for days. Her director, Joel Scatcher, stepped in when he saw her potential. He helped her stay sober by arranging for someone to be with her all the time during the filming of her next big project, St. Elmo's Fire. This support helped her turn her life around. In 1985, Demi starred in St. Elmo's Fire, which became a huge success. The movie was about a group of friends navigating adulthood and featured other young stars like Rob Lowe and Emilio Estevez. Demi played Jules, a party girl with her own struggles, a role that mirrored some of her real-life challenges. But getting the role wasn't easy. Joel Scatcher gave her an ultimatum: get sober or lose the part. Demi chose to fight her addiction and succeeded. The studio even paid for someone to stay with her throughout filming, making sure she stayed on track. The film made Demi a part of the Brat Pack, a group of rising young stars in the 1980s. While the term wasn't loved by the actors, it brought them fame and attention. Demi's performance in St. Elmo's Fire opened more doors for her. Soon, she starred in movies like About Last Night and Ghost, which made her one of the biggest names in Hollywood. Years later, people still talk about the Brat Pack. In 2024, a documentary called Brat premiered, where Demi and her co-stars reflected on that era. There are even talks of a sequel to St. Elmo's Fire, with hopes of reuniting the original cast, including Demi. Demi Moore became a superstar in 1990 with the movie Ghost. The film was a massive hit, making $55.7 million worldwide, even though it was made on a small budget of $22 to $23 million. It became the highest-grossing movie of 1990 and, at the time, the third highest-grossing film ever. People loved it so much that it became the most rented video in the US in 1991. In Ghost, Moore played Molly Jensen, and her performance touched audiences deeply. The pottery wheel scene with Patrick Swayze set to Unchained Melody became iconic and is still remembered as one of the most famous moments in movie history. Her short haircut in the film also became a global fashion trend, with women everywhere copying the look. The movie's success also had a personal side for Moore. While Ghost was topping the box office, her husband, Bruce Willis's film Die Hard 2, was also a huge hit. At one point, their movies were the top 2 films in theaters at the same time. This hadn't happened for another married Hollywood couple until 34 years later. The success of Ghost also earned Moore a Golden Globe nomination and a Saturn Award for Best Actress, showing how much critics and fans appreciated her work. The movie wasn't just a love story, it mixed romance, comedy, and supernatural elements in a way that was new for Hollywood. Its success proved that movies with unique ideas could still be big hits, inspiring filmmakers to try more creative storytelling in the years that followed. After Ghost, Moore continued to shine in major roles. In 1992, she starred with Tom Cruise and Jack Nicholson in A Few Good Men. The movie made over $243 million worldwide, and Moore played Lieutenant Commander Joanne Galloway, showing she could hold her own in a serious, male-dominated film. In 1993, Moore starred in Indecent Proposal, which was a huge box office success, earning nearly $267 million on a $38 million budget. The movie asked a provocative question: would a married woman sleep with a stranger for $1 million? Moore played Diana Murphy, and her performance sparked big debates about morality and relationships. But the role also brought criticism. Feminists argued that the movie treated women like property. Moore later said that the backlash she faced during this time was one of the hardest parts of her career. Despite this, she kept taking on bold roles, seeing them as a way to challenge society's expectations about women. Moore's career took an even riskier turn with 2 controversial movies in the mid-1990s. In 1996, she starred in Striptease, where she played a stripper. The movie got a lot of attention because of its daring subject and Moore's nude scenes. She was paid $12.5 million for the role, making her the highest-paid actress in Hollywood at that time. Then, in 1997, Moore starred in G.I. Jane. In this film, she played the first woman to go through Navy SEAL training. To prepare for the role, Moore shaved her head on camera and did many of her own stunts. She also trained hard, building muscle and lowering her body fat to just 10%. These 2 roles showed opposite sides of Moore. In Striptease, she embraced her femininity and sexuality,
but the criticism
while
and
in
public
G.I.
scrutiny
Jane,
affected
she took
her
on a
deeply.
tough, masculine role.
In her 2019 memoir,
This sparked
Moore
debates
shared
about
that this
gender
period
roles
marked
marked the
the
start of a tough time in her
Moore
personal
herself
life,
reflected
with
on
struggles
this,
involving
saying that playing a
substance
stripper
abuse and
upset
body
women,
image issues,
and playing a soldier upset
Demi
men.
Moore's life took a significant
Even though
turn
these
when she
movies
married
brought
musician
controversy,
Freddie Moore.
they
At
also
just
made
17
Moore's
years
star
old.
power even bigger.
This happened on February 8, 1980. The marriage didn't come from love, it was more about escaping the pain of losing her stepfather. She admitted this. Years later, in her memoir Inside Out, Demi Moore revealed that the night before her wedding, instead of feeling excited or happy, she was on the phone with another man she had met on a movie set. Even before the marriage began, it felt like it wasn't going to work. She took Freddie's last name and made it her stage name, which stayed with her for her entire career. During their marriage, they even worked together on some songs, like It's Not a Rumor, which became a small hit. But the relationship was tough. Demi was still so young, trying to figure out who she was while being in this grown-up relationship. She later admitted that she sabotaged the marriage herself, knowing deep down it wasn't right. It ended in 1985, but it left a lasting mark on her, shaping how she saw love, trust, and herself. However, Demi's love story with Bruce Willis started like something out of a movie. They met in 1987 at a premiere while Demi was engaged to another actor, Emilio Estevez. The spark between Demi and Bruce was undeniable. For months later, they were in Las Vegas for a boxing match when Bruce proposed. They got married right then and there, on November 21, 1987. It was impulsive, but it worked for a while. They became one of Hollywood's most famous couples. Bruce was a rising star with Die Hard, and Demi was becoming one of the highest-paid actresses ever. They had 3 daughters together, Rama, born in 1988, Scout in 1991, and Tallulah in 1994. But their careers kept them apart a lot, and they had different ideas about family. Bruce wanted Demi to stay home more, but she was breaking records, earning $12.5 million for striptease and showing no signs of slowing down. Even with the challenges, they managed to stay close for a long time. They even acted together in the movie Mortal Thoughts, but in 1998, after 11 years of marriage, they decided to separate. Unlike many Hollywood divorces, theirs was surprisingly peaceful. They stayed friends, co-parented their kids, and even attended each other's weddings. Later on, their blended family became an example of how divorced couples can still support each other. Demi's biggest challenge during all this was balancing her career with being a mom. When she had Rummer in 1988, she didn't slow down. By 1991, she made headlines posing nude while pregnant with Scout for the cover of Vanity Fair. That photo became iconic, showing the world that being a mom didn't mean hiding or being ashamed of her body. She worked hard to make her career fit her family life. On the set of G.I. Jane, she had a nursery built for her youngest daughter. But no matter how much she did, she often felt guilty for not being there enough. After splitting from Bruce, she made a huge decision to leave Hollywood and move to Idaho. She wanted her daughters to have a normal life away from the spotlight, even if it meant stepping back from her career. This choice showed how much she valued being a mom above everything else. In 2003, Demi Moore met Ashton Kutcher at the New York premiere of Charlie's Angels, Full Throttle. Demi was 40 years old at the time, and Ashton was 25. Despite the 15-year age gap, they felt an immediate connection. Demi was drawn to Ashton's charm and humor. Within a day of meeting, they had an 8-hour phone call where they talked about their dreams and life philosophies. This deep conversation set the tone for their fast-moving romance. Just 3 weeks after meeting, Ashton had already met Demi's daughters and her ex-husband, Bruce Willis. In a bold and surprising move, Ashton proposed to Demi only 2 months into their relationship. He planned a romantic midnight picnic on the beach in Santa Barbara and spelled out, "Marry me," with rose petals. The engagement ring was a 5-carat Asher-cut diamond worth $250,000. By the 4th month, they had moved in together and even started a production company called Catalyst Films. Their first project, Beauty and the Geek, became a hit, solidifying their status as a Hollywood power couple. However, their relationship faced a heartbreaking challenge when Demi suffered a miscarriage 6 months into her pregnancy. The loss devastated them, but they supported each other through grief, attending counseling 3 times a week for months. Ashton later said this tragedy made him realize he was ready for fatherhood, strengthening their bond even more. The media was fascinated by their 15-year age gap, which became a major topic of public discussion. When they made their debut as a couple at the Charlie's Angels premiere, the press went wild. Over 200 photographers crowded the event, and some even offered $100,000 for a photo of them kissing. Late-night comedians and talk shows constantly joked about their relationship, and the term, cougar, became mainstream, with Demi often being called its poster child. Despite the jokes, Demi and Ashton faced the attention with humor. Demi appeared in a 2005 Saturday Night Live skit wearing old-age makeup, poking fun at the obsession with their age difference. In September 2005, Demi and Ashton had a private wedding at their Beverly Hills home with just 100 guests, including Bruce Willis. Demi wore a Lanvin gown, and Ashton a cream Brooks Brothers suit. They exchanged vows under a Kabbalah chuppah, reflecting their spiritual beliefs. A touching moment came when Demi's daughters Rummer, Scout, and Tallulah read heartfelt letters to Ashton, who gave each girl a Cartier love bracelet to symbolize his commitment to their family. Bruce Willis was reportedly moved to tears by the ceremony. After their wedding, Demi and Ashton embraced their blended family life. They bought a home in Idaho, where they enjoyed family vacations and hosted themed parties. They often spent time together with Bruce Willis, co-parenting smoothly and even vacationing as one big extended family. Bruce praised Ashton, saying he was one of the only men his daughters had told, "I love you." However, Ashton's role as a stepfather to Demi's daughters was significant. Tallulah later wrote that Ashton's presence initially just 27 years old, she wasn't sure how to responsibility of helping to raise 3 girls aged 17. Rummer even admitted she had a crush on Ashton before he started dating her mom. He threw himself into the role, which added complexity to their relationship, cheering at their performances. Despite these challenges, learning how Ashton remained close to the girls, even after Ashton admitted to taking parenting classes to better understand his Rummer during her dancing. Love isn't something that gets divided, and celebrated her pregnancy announcement. He encouraged the girls later actress Ashton said in 2020 that he would always love and root for producing her showing his lasting dedication to the family he helped build. Scalp credited him with inspiring Demi her love of Ashton Kutcher, which led her to study computer science. They were expecting a baby. Moore was 41 years old and 6 months pregnant when, during a routine checkup on September 23, 2003, their joy turned into heartbreak. They found out their baby girl, Chaplin Ray, had no heartbeat. This loss crushed Moore, who had been sober for almost 20 years. She blamed herself, thinking her occasional drinking and smoking early in the pregnancy had caused the tragedy. Relationship remained strong despite the complexities. Their ability to co-parent and be present for each other's families, even after divorce, has been a model of maturity. In 2019, when Bruce was diagnosed with aphasia, which impacts communication, Demi was quick to share her support for him. She spent time with Bruce and his wife, Emma Hemming, and made sure to be there for their family. The shared moments between them, like the viral video from Bruce's 68th birthday in 2023, where they sang Happy Birthday together, demonstrated that despite everything, their bond was unbreakable. Over the years, the relationship between Demi and her daughters has evolved significantly. They had been estranged during her darkest days of addiction, with the emotional and physical toll of her struggles affecting their connection. But as the years passed, Demi worked hard to rebuild trust with them. Talia, who had her own battles with substance abuse and an eating disorder, made the brave decision to reach out to her mom in 2015, marking the first time they saw each other in nearly 3 years. From there, healing began. Demi's memoir Inside Out helped shed light on her pain and the road to recovery, not just personally, but as a mother. In a 2019 episode of Red Table Talk, the family shared how challenging it had been to rebuild their relationships. Talia admitted to feeling abandoned, while rumor spoke of the panic attacks she had at the thought of encountering her mom. Scout expressed her anger and resentment. However, Demi owned up to the damage her addiction had caused, taking responsibility for her actions and the impact they had on her daughters. Over time, they went to therapy together, and in 2017, they took a week-long retreat to heal as a family. By 2022, they had come so far that for Demi's 60th birthday, her daughters surprised her with matching tattoos of the word "mother" in her handwriting, symbolizing their deepened bond. As for her relationship with Bruce Willis, it has always been one of mutual respect and care. Despite their divorce in 2000, Demi has remained a central figure in Bruce's life. She even attended his wedding to Emma in 2009, and Bruce was there for Demi's wedding to Ashton Kutcher in 2005. Their ability to maintain a close, supportive relationship after the end of their romantic marriage speaks volumes about their commitment to their children and to each other as co-parents. Their continued support for each other's new relationships shows that divorce doesn't have to sever family ties, it can, in fact, reshape them into something more supportive and mature. Through the highs and lows, from the pain of addiction and loss to the joy of renewed relationships and family support, Demi Moore's journey has been one of immense personal growth and healing.